So yeah, like I said, looked into Hinduism, and that was out. And yeah, the fascination with worshiping cows, not going to happen. As I mentioned in the other video, cheeseburgers were a big part of my life, and can't worship what you eat. You can't worship what tastes good with uh, pickles, cheese, and onions. Not worshiping that. I looked into agnosticism, um, and I looked into deeper. I looked into, different Christian denominations, early Christian denominations. Um, I tried to find the oldest purely monotheistic Christian denomination that was devoid of the concept of the Trinity and Jesus being the Son of God. I looked into the issue of the Ebionites and all of this, and it just led me to a dead end because the Catholic Church or the Christian Church at that time, the Roman Church, did a very good job in eradicating them off the face of the earth and pretty much all evidence of them. I looked into Islam last mainly because I had these very negative images from the media. As a child, I remember being a child of, born in 78 and looking at the news. At that time, the big thing was Iran versus America, and all these pictures of the Ayatollah Khomeini always frowning and angry, and seeing the Muslims in the street screaming all the time and burning flags. And it just, to me, it just seemed like it just seemed like the wrong way to go. I didn't want any parts of that. And of course, Back to the Future, the Libyan terrorists, everything was Muslims terrorists, Muslim terrorists. So that had, an effect on me, what I believed about Islam. But there were also some positive points about Islam that I remembered. Of course, being a black young man growing up in a predominantly white town, my affinity for hip hop was very important. So being introduced to groups like Public Enemy and their pro-black rhetoric and their leanings towards the Nation of Islam and the teachings of Louis Farrakhan had some impact on me. Um, Many different rap groups, De La Soul, Tribe Called Quest, all these groups, but the most profound effect on me from rap was that of the Wu-Tang Clan. Anybody who was a teenager in the 90s, from 92 to 2000, definitely was affected by the Wu-Tang, and all the Islamic rhetoric from the Five Percenter theology. I got interested in that, but quickly threw that out because I was interested in white people, man. I grew up with white people, so I'm not gonna say that my white friends are devils. I'm not gonna do that. And at the same time, man, I knew my own fallacy, so I can't say that I'm God. That doesn't make sense. See black people doing all kind of crazy things, and then we're gonna say we're gods just because we're black? Nah. And most of the five percenters I knew were on some garbage, drinking and all kind of craziness, and then want to talk to you about some silly stuff. The circumference of the earth. I remember one guy, was like, what did he say? He said, sun, moon, earth, man with one child. Which one came first? And he thought he was giving us some kind of profound knowledge, but he was drunk. He was drunk. So I also had a teacher. Still can't remember his name. Why am I, Mr. McDowell, Mr. Douglas? I can't believe I forgot this guy's name, but he was our teacher, grades 9 and grade 10 in the essential school. For my essential school folks, you know who I'm talking about. I can't believe I forgot his name because the camera's on. I forgot. Anyway, we took world history with him. I think in grade 10. I think it was grade 10, and Islam was one of the topics, one of the world religions that we studied, and he gave a very detailed, very unbiased. And I remember him even talking about some of the biases that people had against Muslims and Islam. So these things were at the back of my head, and eventually I gave Islam a try. I went to the library of NC State, D.H. Hill, NC State, grabbed the Muhsin Khan translation of the interpretations of the meaning of the Quran, read that. Actually, no, I read half of Surah Al-Baqarah and was scared and put the book away, gave it back because I was actually frightened, because this was the first thing that shook my faith. It was the first thing that really shook the foundations of what I believed, because I was always under the assumption that Muslims were on something crazy, ridiculous. There's no point to even wasting your time because they're just all terrorists and lunatic fanatics. But reading half of Surah Al-Baqarah was frightening to me because it coincided so much with what I already knew as a Christian, and it even seemed to give me more information that I had always been looking for. So eventually Islam won, as you can see. 23 years, 2024. Yeah, 23 years into it, still a Muslim. So Islam won out. So the point of this long-winded talk was that, just to respond to this family member, my family member in Nigeria, let's just make that clear. It's not mom, dad, Odaro, Adu, and nobody like this. I did do my due diligence in studying Christianity. Did my due diligence studying. Now, some people may say that the Christianity that I studied was Jehovah's Witnesses, and Jehovah's Witnesses aren't really Christians. Okay, fine, fair enough. But I read enough and studied enough about different sects within Christianity to know that generally I'm not sold. I was not sold on the Apostle Paul. That whole part of Christianity to me did not make any sense. It just seemed like such a diversion from the rest of the books of the Bible. And his story just did not seem plausible to me. It just, Pauline Christianity just did not make sense. And all of Christianity, modern Christianity, is based on Pauline Christianity. So therefore, it just did not make sense to me. So I did my due diligence studying Christianity, just so that individual knows. As far as being a pastor or an evangelist, this channel is a direct response to that. That I agree with you. Perhaps I could be a pastor, but in the Muslim sense. I could be a preacher, an imam, or something like this. I agree with you on that. And I will do my due diligence to pursue any active role that I can be to be in service of Islam and the Muslim community. So that's that. And an evangelist, I am an evangelist now. I'm going to be an evangelist on YouTube. So that's what I'll do. ERA, Omori Ministries, talking about Islam and calling people to Islam. So this is a response to that particular person who I love very much, and probably, this is going to sound terrible, but my third favorite cousin. I just gave it away. I said cousin. Oh, it's okay. Anyway, my third favorite cousin in Nigeria. Response to that person. I love all my cousins, okay, guys? I love all my cousins, so please don't get angry. And to address one more issue, I do love my Nigerian side very much. I really think that's important. This is one of the reasons, actually, why I never changed my name. I am Iyare Imagbe Omoruyi. I never changed my name out of respect to my Edo culture and out of respect to my father. He named me Iyare, and I saw nothing wrong Islamically with the name. So I said, I am going to keep the name Iyare in honor of my father and my Nigerian heritage. So I love my Nigerian side. I love my North Carolina American side. And I do plan one day to be of service to the Muslim community in both of those places and other than the Muslim community, because I'll be calling you to Islam, but in my own way. So that's the end of this very long two-part video. As always, I say to you, smile, stay classy, and have a good day.